It was supposed to be an ordinary royal appearance, a charming moment of innocence, with Prince Louis, the youngest royal, flashing a bright smile and waving beside his siblings. The world had seen it all before: the poised family, the polite public, the carefully orchestrated choreography of the royal family's public life. But what Prince Louis said, standing in front of stunned onlookers and unsuspecting palace guards, turned what should have been a routine ceremonial event into a full-blown royal security incident. Eyewitnesses gasped, royal officials scrambled, and inside Buckingham Palace, centuries-old tensions began to crack. What did Prince Louis say that was so shocking? Why did it send the palace into full security mode? Keep watching to find out, because the real story behind this event is more profound and more dangerous than you can imagine. It began on a crisp spring afternoon. The royal family, stepping out for what was supposed to be a simple, routine public engagement, was greeted by crowds of excited faces, waving flags and smiling faces. The scene was as predictable as any other royal outing: Prince George standing dutifully, Princess Charlotte beaming with her signature grace, and Prince Louis, always the playful one, bouncing on his heels, waving enthusiastically. For a few precious moments, everything unfolded exactly as expected. The cameras flashed, the crowd cheered, and the royal family presented themselves as a portrait of composure. But that moment, the perfect royal moment, would not last. As the royal procession continued, something unusual caught the eye of the onlookers. Prince Louis, the youngest, most playful royal, appeared more curious than usual. He tugged away from his aide, slowly moving toward one of the palace guards stationed at the perimeter. It wasn't overtly shocking, but it was rare for him to approach the guard so freely. He leaned in, whispering something to the guard, a simple action that would change the entire tone of the afternoon. The guard, clearly surprised, leaned down slightly to hear what was being said. Then, the words Prince Louis spoke made everyone in earshot stop in their tracks. The guard's face visibly tightened, his posture stiffened, his eyes darted toward the senior aides watching from just beyond the red carpet. One of the other guards, stationed on the opposite side, immediately began speaking into his communication device. Security presence doubled in minutes. Outside, the crowd continued cheering, unaware of the growing tension just behind the scenes. The royal family, once poised, was now scrambling behind closed doors. Princess Catherine, always composed, was quick to act. She gently placed her hand on Louis's shoulder, guiding him back into line. But in that brief moment, the polished perfection of the event began to crack. Her gaze met Louis's, and for a split second, her calm expression faltered. Prince William, though further away, glanced toward his wife. Their eyes exchanged a silent nod. In that moment, their parental instincts kicked in, and the royal coordination team shifted into high gear. The event, once running smoothly, was now in damage control mode. The royal family cut the event short, leaving 5 minutes earlier than scheduled. The motorcade, initially supposed to depart in formal sequence, was abruptly adjusted, with security presence doubling behind them. What had Prince Louis said that triggered such a swift and dramatic response? Why had the palace's security team gone into full alert mode? The answer would come not in a press release, but behind closed doors. As Prince Louis was brought back inside the palace staff had no idea that the innocent child would repeat his words with the same clarity and conviction. What he said next would freeze his mother, leave his aides speechless, and spark a confidential response at the highest level of palace security. A soft-spoken aide, trained in child communication, gently knelt beside Prince Louis. She asked him, with as much care as she could muster, what he had said to the guard. Without hesitation, Louis spoke again, his words hanging in the air, their significance sinking in with devastating clarity. In that instant, the room fell silent. Catherine, who had been standing just a few feet away, went pale. Her eyes widened, not with fear, but with a sharp recognition of what those words meant. Without speaking, she excused herself from the room, leaving everyone else frozen in place. What Louis had said wasn't just a disturbing comment. It echoed a phrase buried deep within a highly classified royal document, one known only to a select few. A security alert was triggered immediately. This wasn't a standard breach. No, this was something far more alarming. The palace's internal alert level was raised to Tier 31, just one level beneath a full lockdown. Behind the scenes, operations normally reserved for sovereign threats began to unfold. Guards were repositioned. Communications lines were secured. Surveillance teams scoured every log from the past 48 hours. Inside the secure wing, Prince Louis was quietly escorted to a private playroom, unaware of the whirlwind his words had caused. The most troubling realization came just moments after. Prince Louis's innocent remark had set off a chain of events that threatened to unravel more than just an afternoon event. The palace's carefully guarded secrets were suddenly exposed. The real question had shifted. Would this be the moment that Prince Louis finally became a liability for the monarchy? Or could the palace reclaim control of this situation before it escalated? If you want to understand exactly what Prince Louis said that shook the very foundation of the royal family, hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out on what comes next as we dive deep into the truth behind this royal incident. Like this video if you think this event could change the future of the monarchy forever, and share it with your friends to spread the word about what's really going on inside Buckingham Palace. Stay tuned, because the story is only just beginning. The phrase, "they're watching from the walls," had only ever appeared in a 2002 internal briefing regarding a security anomaly during Queen Elizabeth II's reign. An incident so secret, so carefully guarded, that it was never made public, referred to only in cryptic fragments and code. The phrase had been categorized as a lexical anomaly observed in royal quarters. But how could Prince Louis, a young child, have known it? And why did he repeat it in front of the palace guards? No one could answer that question. Catherine, now alone in the quiet stillness of her private quarters, accessed a hidden compartment behind an armchair, one gifted to her by Queen Elizabeth herself. She pulled out a thin envelope, faded with age, marked with a single chilling word: Plarion. The significance of that word wasn't known to many. In fact, only Catherine and the late Queen had ever spoken of it. The contents of the envelope revealed secrets buried deep in royal history, secrets she was about to confront. What she read was unsettling, and moments later she burned the envelope. Minutes passed. She returned to the command wing, her tone low, her decision resolute. "We must monitor the East Wing corridor again," she said. The palace's security operations were suddenly on high alert. What had Prince Louis unknowingly triggered with his innocent comment? What had he seen? While Catherine quietly navigated the crisis, Prince William was attending a military charity event across town. Suddenly, his secure line rang 3 times, and then went silent. That single, eerie occurrence sent him into action. The code was clear. Without hesitation, he left the event, his exit urgent and mysterious. Spectators noticed his sudden departure. Some even filmed it. But by the time his car reached the palace, security had already doubled. 3 stairwells were shut off. A trace scan had begun. No one knew what had caused it, but instinct alone had activated one of the oldest, most secretive security mechanisms the monarchy still possessed. The royal corridors buzzed with uncertainty. An older generation of royals exchanged silent glances, their faces telling a story of recognition. They had heard similar words decades ago. Prince Louis' eerie phrase wasn't the first time such words had been spoken. It wasn't a coincidence. A nearly identical phrase had been written and then redacted from Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother's final private letter to the palace archives. The connection had been buried, overlooked, and dismissed as old royal nonsense, until now. Within the restricted archives of the royal palace, hidden behind layers of bureaucracy, lay a slender bundle wrapped in parchment, sealed with the Queen Mother's personal crest. Few knew of its existence. Even fewer were permitted to view it. But within that bundle was a letter titled, "Regarding the Watching Ones." At the time, the Queen Mother's words had been dismissed as poetic musings, reflections from an aging monarch. But now, with Prince Louis's words echoing through the palace halls, They no longer seemed so insignificant. In fact, they seemed almost prophetic. Within the redacted letter, a single line had been struck through, blackened out in every public copy. But in the private, untouched copy locked away, the full sentence remained. There are those within our own walls who do not serve the crown, but watch it and wait. The resemblance between Prince Louis's comment and the Queen Mother's words was chilling. Ancient fears, once dismissed as superstition, were now being reconsidered in whispers. And what had once been filed away as historical ephemera now resurfaced as a warning. As these conversations unfolded in the palace, one name continued to surface. Princess Anne, an unwavering pillar of the royal family, was quietly absorbing everything. Known for her pragmatism, Anne had once dismissed these theories as nothing more than sentimental reflections from an earlier, more paranoid era. But when Prince Louis's words were spoken aloud, even Anne, with her usual stoic realism, fell silent. Her face turned to stone. Why was she so deeply unsettled? Was it just coincidence? Or had she finally recognized something that had been brushed aside for decades? It wasn't just a conversation anymore. The past and present were now aligning, and it was impossible to ignore. Catherine, once considered simply a poised symbol of royal grace, had long had private access to a hidden room in Windsor Castle. The Blue Room, a secretive vault housing documents reserved for future queens. It was in this room, among the diaries of Queen Victoria, that Catherine encountered a chilling entry dated 1852. The entry spoke of what Victoria called the Whispers, a term used to describe a strange, unsettling event involving her youngest son. And just like that, the phrase began to make sense. The Blue Room wasn't listed in any public blueprints of Windsor Castle. It was hidden behind a reinforced panel, accessible only to direct heirs to the throne, those designated as custodians of royal legacy. And Catherine, granted access by Queen Elizabeth II, had begun to study its contents in recent months, especially after growing uncertainty around the monarchy's future. One diary entry stood out, detailing a disturbing event from 1852, where Victoria had written about the Watchers, those who waited for the crown to falter. What had Prince Louis been exposed to? Why had his innocent words sent such a shockwave through the palace? And why was Catherine now poring over these old diaries, searching for answers to questions no one had dared ask? As whispers from royal history grew louder, one question remained. What exactly had Prince Louis seen? If you're as captivated by this unfolding mystery as we are, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. You won't want to miss the next chapter of this shocking royal saga. Stay tuned to find out what Prince Louis's words really mean for the future of the monarchy and how royal history is reshaping the royal family's destiny. Click the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. It's a truth that's too dangerous to ignore. The child had reportedly uttered a sentence he had never heard before, a phrase so chilling that it would echo through the walls of the royal palace for years to come. Prince Louis, with innocent curiosity, referenced the ones who speak through the stone, claiming to see shadows moving through the east wing at night. The very mention of this phrase triggered a reaction no one could have predicted. What could it mean? How did a child so young manage to repeat words no one had taught him? And why did it send such a shockwave through the most secure family in the world? Victoria, ever the symbol of stoic rationality, documented the incident not with maternal concern, but with an eerie formality, as if she herself recognized the dark weight of what had occurred. She described being unsettled to the core and noted how the child fell silent for days afterward. But what caught Catherine's attention wasn't just the unsettling nature of the event, it was the phrasing. He is not unlike one that shall come, one who shall speak again what was never taught. These words, so eerily familiar to the royal lexicon, sent a cold shiver down Catherine's spine. The resemblance to what Louis had said was too precise to ignore. Though she had shared parts of her discoveries with William in passing, Catherine had made a deliberate choice not to disclose every detail. She feared sounding paranoid or, worse, superstitious. But as she watched her own son now repeat nearly identical phrases that had once shaken monarchs and royal advisors, the importance of these entries became undeniable. One line in particular stood out in the Queen Victoria's diary: "A corner chamber in the east wing beneath the chapel's bell," the exact location Louis had wandered near during the recent public event. What was it that Prince Louis had seen? And why was Catherine so compelled to revisit the hidden chambers of royal archives to piece together a truth that had been buried for generations? Catherine's meticulous nature pushed her to cross-reference Queen Victoria's accounts with those of the Queen Mother. What she discovered was unnerving. Both women, though separated by decades, had described a hauntingly similar idea. Innocent children speaking truths they were never taught, echoing warnings hidden within the walls of the palace itself. But it wasn't the words that disturbed Catherine most. It was the consistency. Same phrases, same corridors, same shadows stretching across centuries. She could no longer deny it. Louis had seen something, or perhaps someone. And whatever it was, it had made its presence known before. Just when it seemed the palace might regain control of the narrative, an anonymous whistleblower within the royal guard leaked a classified incident report to a tabloid. The leak hit the press like a bomb, shaking the very foundations of the monarchy. The headline? "Prince Louis repeats code from royal security file, Palace in panic." The world was gripped. The crown, once untouchable, was cornered. For the first time in over a decade, the royal family had no official response. Silence. The palace's silence was deafening and deliberate, only adding fuel to the fire. But behind the scenes, the story wasn't over yet. A sealed, encrypted file landed in the editorial inbox of a tabloid editor just after midnight. Skeptical at first, the editor ran a series of checks, but when an ex-palace employee, now a trusted informant, confirmed the document's authenticity, the editor had no choice but to release the truth. The phrase, "they're watching from the walls," once spoken innocently by Prince Louis,